Round one, ready, fight!
Oh, it's a fighting game for sure with combos and high scores. Crossplay, roll back, ensures that you'll be back for more. Let's go! Battle for the grid, let's go! Battle for the grid, let's go! Battle for the grid, let's go! Go Power Rangers!
It's gaming time!
Power Rangers Battle for the Grid is a fighting game about Power Rangers. You should join the Discord! Yeah!
What is good, fellow gamers? This is Jester JE, here to share my thoughts on Roundhouse 2022, my very first in-person fighting game tournament. Before we get into that, though, hi! My name is Jester JE, and I love fighting games, specifically Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. I post daily videos, most of which are going to be live ranked matches with my commentary. And if that sounds like a fun time, then make sure to hit that subscribe button. Each subscription is a really big deal for a small-time YouTuber like me, and it'll help me reach my goals to get to 1,000 subscriptions. Let's get into it. Now, I'm not trying to keep anything a secret here, so let me just start off by saying Roundhouse 2022 was so cool. If you thought my Roundhouse videos looked fun, that's because in person it was at least twice as fun as it looked. And if you have ever thought about going to an in-person event before, then what are you waiting for? You should just pick one that's near you, sign up, and you should go. I definitely want to go back to Roundhouse in 2023. Maybe I'll see you there. Now, let's talk about what my day was like. This was a 2-day event, but I could only get off work for 1 day, so I wasn't able to see everything that the event offered. But what I saw was really cool. The doors opened at 11 a.m., and I got there pretty much when the doors opened. Parking was easy for me, but it did seem kind of tight when I left, so if you got there late, it might have been hard to find their parking. Let's see, this was my very first ever event, so I had lots of questions, but the people from Low Kick Esports had a help desk set up with some very helpful staff. The tournament space was lots of monitors set up in either rows or circles, and if the tournament of your specific game hadn't started yet, you could get some sets with a random person at one of those monitors. That's actually how I tried warming up, and it was actually really fun. Getting a chance to warm up let me test out my fight stick, which is a universal device, meaning it should work with every console you plug it into, but I had never actually tried it with a PlayStation, so I was a little nervous. Thankfully, it worked perfectly, though. My matches started at 2 or so after I warmed up, I walked around and tried to meet new people and look for cool merch. The venue, Ignite Gaming Lounge, had its own bar and food, and I grabbed some chicken tenders. The bar drinks looked fun, and I wanted to try one after my tournament, but I forgot and left before I could. So maybe I'll try one next time I'm there. The food was not bad, and having something warm in my stomach helped me focus on the matches at hand. There was a main event stage that looked like a really fun UFC cage arena. And when I was there, there were some Marvel vs. Capcom 3 matches held in that cage, but it didn't get used for Power Rangers, and I think that would have been really, really cool. After my lunch, the Power Rangers tournament started. There wasn't many participants and not many spectators, but we did have a little corner set up. There was one table with 2 monitors for the players, and there was a second table off to the side for the commentators to sit at, and a couple of tech people just helping making sure the whole show ran off without a hitch. We played our matches and also talked at the standing tables when we weren't playing, and it was a great time. That's where I got to meet a lot of people and talk to my opponents. Some of these people I had only ever met on ranked matches online, so it was really cool to talk to them in person. I think Power Rangers started around 2 and ended at maybe 5 or 5:30. I wasn't able to stay longer because I had planned to meet up with Mrs. Jester later after she got off of work. But next tournament I go to, I think I want to stay longer and meet more people and watch even more matches. I will say it was a little intimidating being at an in-person tournament space, seeing that I had never been to anything like that before. But whenever I had questions, the event staff and my fellow competitors were always really helpful and happy to answer any questions I asked of them. It was a really welcoming space. And if I could overcome being a little intimidated and have a lot of fun and playing some video games like that, I think you definitely could too. Since I am a content creator, I did bring my recording device. It's a pass-through recorder, and I could have easily hooked it up and gotten it to work and recorded my matches that way, but the event space and the event staff generally had a don't touch our stuff rule, and I respected that. Since all my matches were streamed, I could go to Twitch after the fact and do whatever I needed to do to record my matches that way. However, if some of my matches were not streamed, I might need to brainstorm on how to get my matches that way. If my matches were not streamed, which is pretty common at other events, I might need a good way to capture that footage. I might have a friend stand behind me and just use my phone to record the matches, which would seem a little low-tech compared to what my channel usually brings to the table. However, you gotta do what you gotta do. If you know of any other ideas, please let me know, because I'd love to hear about them. Mrs. Jester, my wife, and myself have been very cautious with anything COVID-related, and it was a pretty big step for me to even go to an in-person event at all. When I got there, I was a little nervous to figure out if people were going to be keeping themselves safe and therefore keeping me safe, but I was actually very surprised to see how seriously the staff and participants were taking public health and safety guidelines. Every person was required to wear a mask at the event and show a vaccine card when they checked in. COVID precautions might not be everyone's favorite part of the video game tournament, but seeing their setup made me feel safe and helped me focus on playing my games. I was very excited to be at my first in-person tournament, and I wanted to commemorate it with some merch. There was a small merch table with some hats and some pins, so I got a hat there. And there was also a pop-up style stand for a local vendor, and at that place I got some soap. It had a fun name. It was called Weeb Wash. It was lavender and oatmeal, and honestly, it makes my skin feel amazing. I will try to post a picture of the hat and a picture of the soap person's contact info. I'll try to be showing that now. I don't have much negative feedback for this event, but one thing I wanted more of was merch. One of my fight stick buttons just does not work, and I thought I might be able to buy a replacement button there, but sadly, there were no vendors that sold anything like that. That would be really cool to see some vendors like that at Roundhouse 2023. Also, I love the hat I got, and I already wear it a lot, but there was not a hat with any Roundhouse 2022 branding on it. And I was a little disappointed. I wanted to commemorate my first event with something maybe with the first event's name on it. I ended up with a record of 1 win and 12 losses. I don't think I played my best, but I am proud I went, and I'm proud of how I prepared. Playing at home on my Xbox feels a lot different than playing at an offline, in-person tournament. I definitely get anxious sometimes, and even though I didn't feel nervous at the event, because I was having such a great time there, my anxiety might have played a factor in my losses. Also, like I mentioned, I usually play on an Xbox, and I've never played on a Sony machine before. Since the different platforms are slightly different, maybe I just wasn't used to playing on a PlayStation version of the game. Whatever happened, I do know 2 things to be true. 1, I trained a lot, and I know I improved while preparing for this tournament. And I walked away with my very first ever win in any tournament, online or offline. You can find my tournament playlist on my YouTube channel. It's not very long now, but I'm hoping to make it longer. And you can see that I got a lot more dangerous in order to get ready for Roundhouse. I got better, I got a win, and I'm proud of myself. Number 2. Whether it was nerves, or whether it was that I needed more experience playing on a PlayStation, or whether I just, even though I improved, I just need to improve more to be on the level of my opponents, I know every time I play in person like this, I'm going to get better at it. And I'm really excited to play in my next in-person tournament. Now, I don't have a rating system yet, but I'm hoping to be going to a lot more in-person fighting game events. And I guess that means I'll need to figure out a rating system. So I'll leave you with this. Being said, I don't have a system, but I will say I'll give Roundhouse 2022 2 thumbs way, way up. Well, I have been talking about wanting to sign up for my next in-person tournament, so I guess I should talk about what's coming next. I am already signed up for another in-person tournament. I'm lucky I live right now in Chicago because there are a lot of FGC events throughout the year that take place here, so I don't have to travel very far. My next in-person event will be Frosty Faustings. It's in Chicago and it's on February 2nd through the 5th. I signed up for 2 games this time, Power Rangers Battle for the Grid, and another indie fighting game that I'm really excited about. It's called Them's Fightin' Herds. I'll be sharing a lot more about my next tournament in my next channel update. Well, if you have any questions about anything I've shared in this video, then please ask in the comments. I'd love to talk to you about it. And have you ever been to an in-person video game event? You should tell me about it in the comments. Folks, make sure to go ahead and like and subscribe. Again, each subscription really helps me reach my goals as a small-time YouTube content creator. Have a great rest of your night, and may the power protect you all.
Round 1, ready, fight!
It's a fighting game for sure, with combos and high scores, crossplay, rollback ensures that you'll be back for more. Let's go! Battle for the Grid, let's go! Battle for the Grid, let's go! Battle for the Grid, let's go! Go Power Rangers!
It's gaming time!
Power Rangers Battle for the Grid is a fighting game about Power Rangers. You should join the Discord! Yeah!